and welcome to this episode of Que Okay. Today, I'm going to present to you a pseudo traditional Colombian breakfast, which will consist of morcilla, blood pudding, cacao, hot chocolate essentially, and huevos perico, and a guest star of bread. Always got to be some kind of bread. So without further ado, I give you pseudo Colombiano breakfast. Okay? Okay, so today on Que Okay, we are going to make traditional Colombian chocolate, morcilla, and with these eggs, we're going to do something called huevos perico. We'll be back a little bit later and show you how it gets done. Okay, here is a thing called olleta, which is essentially a pot used to make chocolate. And you start with 2 cups of water. Keep going. Okay, and then you add 2 cups of milk. Then you add a pinch of cloves. Give it a little bit of a bite. Whoop. Okay, now you take the chocolate, and this was like a 6 brick, and just actually you pop it in there. Now what I gotta do is turn on the oven. That'd be a really good idea. Okay, now let's get that thing get hot. And then the next thing we have is this medieval tool. Molina se llama, Mom?
¿Qué?
Esto.
Molinillo.
Molinillo. Sounds like an Italian person.
Sí.
Hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing there, Molinillo? So later when this gets hot, we start using this to break up the chocolate and stir it up. We'll be back there in a moment. Yep. Another little trick is to add some butter. Butter and bacon make everything better. I'm just saying. And while we have the chocolate being made here, the next thing we have is morcilla. Very popular Colombian sausage, which is essentially, drum roll please, blood sausage. Yep, that's what it is. So I'm heating up the pan. I'm gonna open these up there. I'm letting it get a little warmer. I'm gonna add a little water. And yes, guess what? Butter. Then I'm gonna kind of let it slow cook so it doesn't get cooked too fast and it cooks thoroughly. We'll be back. Okay, here's my mom. She is a ninja when it comes to Colombian food, and she's gonna show us the right way to mix the chocolate. So you go back and forth, kind of like you're churning butter, and sometimes she uses a ring, and it makes a noise kind of like a mafia ring. So that's how you break it up, and that helps the chocolate to move around, and then you keep doing that once in a while just to keep mixing it up.
Yep.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, well, I got the chocolate brewing over here. I got the morcilla slow cooking, simmering over there. I now move over to my skillet where I have my scallions, and I'm also kind of slow cooking them a little bit too, get them nice and liquidy. And one of the secrets I learned is to add this spice, which is a mixed spice called triguisar, which I guess if you Americanize it's pronounced tricky czar, you know, like Ivan the Terrible. And I think it has some pepper, has some corn and some rice flour, as well as cumin, a couple other fun things, but it makes it really delicious. And so the thing to do here is to constantly stir it until it liquefies, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cut up the other ingredient, which is tomatoes. Okay, so we got that fairly nicely liquefied. Next, we add tomatoes. Try to dice them. And you know, that liquid and the scallions are going to mix up very nicely, and the flavors will combine. But I'm still kind of thrown by a tomato's a fruit, just like a peanut is not a nut, it's a legume. Worlds are colliding. Okay, as you can see, I added the tomatoes to the scallion mix, and now give them a little time to liquefy. Meanwhile, our morcilla, I flipped them over once, and in a little while I'm going to drain the fluid so that it actually grills. And then over here, I'm going to prepare the eggs. And so you got to beat those eggs. They were very naughty this year. Their coyas are in big trouble. You don't know what coyas is, ask one of my sisters, ask my mom. They will tell you. They were very naughty. These eggs need to be beaten. Well, as you can see, I drained the fluid from the morcilla, the blood sausage. And then I added some more olive oil. And I kicked the heat up a little bit more so that it can continue to cook throughout, but start to sear a little bit on the outside, more like a sausage, and actually improves the flavor. And as you can see, the guiso, which is a saute mix of all this stuff, is liquefying even more so. So by the time, a couple minutes, that's at a good texture. That's when we'll add the eggs. Meanwhile, hi Marcia, chocolate. That's right. Having beat those naughty eggs, you can now actually fold it into the guiso. Kamsa. Right? And we'll stir it up. So you got to make sure you stir pretty constantly so you get an even mix of the guiso and the egg, and by stirring it also, you're mixing that flavor right into the egg as it cooks. And then you just keep moving it, you'll start to see it harden a little bit, start to cook a little bit more, but just constant. Can't stop and have a cigarette break or watch TV at this moment. Gotta focus. Apologies in advance to my Colombian restaurant buddies out there who make this dish, the huevos perico. There, the problem with almost every one of these restaurants that I've been to is that they overcook it and it's drier than a bad joke. Okay, shut up. So yes, I actually place the cheese inside of the cup here. And then I'm going to take the hot chocolate. Cacao is actually a different way to say it. And pour it right on top. Now, this is what's called panela cheese, and I think the ones that we normally use more are Munster cheese because it melts really nicely. And the other thing you're going to see missing in this prep, unfortunately, is a lot of the different breads that we usually eat with this. Something's called achiras, which is something you put in it to let it soak, but we don't have the need. So we're going to use plain bread. And there you have it, Pseudo Colombian traditional breakfast. If you try it, I hope you enjoy it. Tomorrow, which is Christmas Eve, sancocho, traditional Colombian stew. Stay tuned to Que O Que for that big reveal, for that awesome recipe, which actually very is awesome. Thank you.